Greetings, adventurer. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I'm Comfortable Gray. What should we call you?
Miles is fine. Short for Wizard Hat Miles. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I gotta say, as soon as we crossed paths, you reached out to me because somebody mistook you for me at a convention.
Yeah.
I've always been a huge fan of your style. What has inspired you to express your true self in this way?
I mean, there's a lot of little things. I think the best anecdotal answer is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Because during the pandemic, I got into that pretty heavily, like a lot of people did. And I loved getting to make outfits and the custom clothing creator they have. But the hat options weren't very good. So I looked through the game for hats I liked, and they had a bunch of witch and wizard hats that I loved, and so I put my character in those. And there was a chunk of time afterwards, I was just like, man, I wish I could run around wearing a wizard hat. I just wish I had a nice casual, everyday blue collar wizard hat. And I had that thought often enough that I'm like, I should just make one. I should just make one and wear it, because it turns out there aren't any rules. And if you want to wear a wizard hat every day in Brooklyn, you can do that.
You absolutely can.
I can just walk around the city in a wizard hat. So.
That's awesome. You had mentioned in our earlier conversation that you come from the Minnesota Ren Fair, and so do you have a background in making your own things like that?
A little bit. I think the earliest documented crafting that I did was, there's a picture of me at 6 years old having, sorry, I had an alarm go off. It was to remember this interview. There's a picture of me, 6 years old, I'm wearing a blue shirt and red pants for some reason, but I made myself a Batman mask out of paper and logo to put on my shirt and a full cape out of just taped together paper that I had drawn on marker to cover the whole thing, and the utility belt. So I've been making stuff forever, and I started performing at Ren Fair around 13. I did a bunch of improv groups and stuff, and I was part of a group that was going to the Ren Fair to do improvised fairy tales, and we ended up making all of our own costumes and stuff. So I had to do some mask making for that, as well as make some hats and other things as well. So it's been something I've been doing a long time.
That's great. I'm actually feeling a lot of kindred spirit stuff going on, because I was also a huge Batman fan as a kid, and making my own capes out of towels and everything. Perhaps not as high quality as you were doing. Even though it's paper, paper and cardboard is the first crafting material we should all really get started with.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess that leads pretty you were doing improv fairy tales, and we're kind of both in the D&D TikTok sphere. So when did you start playing these games?
Yeah, my first introduction was probably similar time, maybe just before starting high school, I would say. Actually, I started playing with some people. I have an older brother, and he would invite me along. And so I played there every now and then, and I liked it, but I never really got super into it. It was just a tangential interest, like so many other things. And, I've always loved fantasy. Performing at the Ren Fair was a part of that, but it's just been something I've loved my whole life. Especially being a kid when those Lord of the Rings movies were originally hitting the theaters. That was huge. That had an influence.
For sure.
So, but I got more into D&D. I dabbled in college as well, and then I moved out to New York. I dropped out and ran away to the big city, like you do. And I had some friends that I started playing with more often. And now I work at a company that does tabletop terrain as well. So now it's a huge part of my life. So it's crazy, but it's always been around, at least.
That's so interesting. Well, how did you get into the terrain crafting business itself?
It's a weird story. If you break it down to the base level, it's essentially because of the college that I went to, which was in Minnesota, for musical theater because I dropped out and ran away. Handful of years later, someone I went to college with but only overlapped a year came out to the city, and he's like, "Hey, I'm new," and we went to college together. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll help you out." I got him a job at a place, and I was like introducing all my friends and everything. And one night we're out at a bar where there's an open mic, and we meet someone who works for Dwarven Forge, and the friend that I had from college, turns out he'd been an avid mini painter, like war game mini painter, which I didn't even know. But from meeting that person, they were like, "We actually need someone to paint." They're like, "Oh, our friend Hamster, he paints," so he got a job. Part-time at first, but now he's one of the two main painters. And then slowly but surely over time, as jobs have opened up, like another of my friend was an editor, I did some PA work, and that's for like 2 weeks and then left, and then another friend who's now like head of production got a job. So we all got jobs because of a guy that I went to college with. I introduced to my friends. So it's crazy. It's very big city, small world, like vibes. It's fascinating.
That sounds like a good friend, though.
Yeah, and it's great. At a certain point, like I've been at the company and on set to help do PA work while they were filming videos for a Kickstarter, and then a chunk of time later, they're like, "We need someone to like make clay blocks for our sculptors. We just need someone who's like, you know, is good with their hands and meticulous and will like make sure everything's going great." And my friend Tyler had gotten a job here at that point, and he's like, "I mean, there's always Miles," and the chief creative officer who he was talking about was like, "Oh yeah, Miles, he'd be great for it." And since then, the number of things I do at the company has expanded, and the number of skills I've picked up doing this have grown over time, which is really fun.
It's gotta be so fun. Yeah, I saw that you started making your own terrain molds.
Yeah, and that's just, I've always been kind of interested in sculpting, and some of that is the sculptors at the company are incredibly talented, so it's great having that like around as inspiration and as like people I can talk to about it. So I'm like, I want to try and teach myself, and honestly, just to like have something to focus on instead of just trying to sculpt random things, I'm like, I'll make some terrain pieces that work with our terrain, because I know the scale for that, and I know like the style it goes for, and it gives me like a good goal to hit, but that I can still be creative within. So it's been a really cool fun thing to do.
That's lovely. It does sound like intrinsically rewarding, so I'm very happy for you. So what are you playing now? Are you running things? Or are you the player?
Yeah, I'm a player. I'm currently in a game of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which has been great. Has been a lot of fun. We haven't been able to play in like a month or so, but it's a fun game. And it's with one of my friends at the company, Tyler, runs the game, and he's an incredible DM. I love working with him because I'm really, really good at making him like let me get away with things. So that's always fun for me. But he's the person I've played in games with the most since I've been out here. I like running games, but I've pretty much only run like a one-shot or two in the last handful of years. But it's fun. I'm interested in it, but there's so many things that I want to do that it's easier just to be a player, and eventually I'll focus on running games more, I think. That's
totally granted, and it's especially good the energy you can get in person, which is what you're doing with your friends.
Yeah.
Is there any systems you'd like to play? Anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, recently we did a one-shot of Kids on Brooms, and that was a lot of fun. I'd like to dive into that a little deeper. The game that I ran most recently was Space Kings, which was a lot of fun as well.
Is that the Flash Gets a Space King?
So, one more time?
Is it the Flash Gets Space King? Maybe I don't know the system.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Like it's like a parody of Warhammer?
No, it's not. It's just a really like rules light, like leans heavily into the rule of cool, like simple like RPG system. That's really good for adapting. So for the one that I ran, I called it Sleuthtopia because everyone on the planet that the players woke up on, which was called Sleuthtopia, everyone on that planet multi-occupationed as a sleuth. So if you were a witness to a crime, you had to solve it because everyone was a sleuth. So that was my silly adventure. How like they woke up in a bar and there had been a murder, and it's like, well, you were here, so you're the number one suspect and also in charge of the investigation. Like if you can't prove you did it, we're gonna assume you did. Which was a lot of fun to put together.
I gotta check out Space King, so I appreciate the recommendation. And that's a lovely one shot. Sleuth Planet. Would you call it Sleuth Zone? Sleuth World? Sleuthtopia. Very creative. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in the big city. Are there any favorite hidden gems you have?
Yeah. Just in general, hidden gems in New York City. Okay. I mean, it's tough. I honestly think it's a hard city to be a hidden gem in because it's so expensive. So, like, there's a certain level of like quality you need to be a gem that is expensive enough that if you're hidden after a certain amount of time, you're not going to be around anymore. But mostly the reason that jumps to my head is for like the last decade, my favorite restaurant in the world is this little spot out in Chinatown called Miley Wah, which has these baked roasted pork buns that were so good. It's just a little like tiny little place. And I think at some point, like after the pandemic, after the shutdown, it must have blown up on TikTok or something. But mostly it would be empty. But now there's like lines around the block.
Whoa. And
I'm like, it means they stay open, you know? Sure, I'm willing to wait. And I'm glad they're not going to close down. But it's no longer hidden. So I'd assume that the easiest answer for a hidden gem for me is probably whatever bodega I live closest to. Because like that's, you know, it's exactly what I want. It's perfect, and the only people who go there are the other people who live close.
So. That's cool. It's a really good point about the hidden nature of gems. They can't stay hidden forever.
Yeah, especially in a city like this. But
well, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate all the time you've given me. Is there anything you'd like to share where people can find you?
Yeah, sure. I'm on TikTok as Wizard Have Mile, and things like that. I have posted some like more like micro fiction, like fantasy story stuff in the past that I really enjoyed making. So you can check that out. But yeah, if you want to come follow me on whatever I'm working on, it'd be fun.
I hope so. And yeah, I'll let you know next time I go to the Ren Fair.
Yeah, please.
Thank you again, Miles. I'll catch you online.
Yes.
Have a good one.